Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Closer.
Literally. Literally.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Let's get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Come on, get it together.
Rabbits in the house. 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 Rabbits
You
in
better
the
get it
house.
together. We gon' get it together.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits
Get
in
it
the
together.
house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits
You
in
better
the
get it
house.
together. We gon' get it together.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Literally.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Closer.
Literally. Literally.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house.
Let's get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Let's get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house.
Come on, get it together.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house.
better get together. We gon' get it together.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits
Get
in
it
the
together.
house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits in the house. Rabbits.
Get it together.
Rabbits in the house. Rabbits
You
in
better
the
get
house.
it.
Shout out to the chat. 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 What's going on here? Issues with this damn thing. Oh. Gosh. Give me a second. Give me a second. What's up with this thing, bro? I can't get my stuff to work properly. I don't know. I don't know what's the problem. Whoops. Whoops. Okay, let's try that again. Let's try that again. Now I can see me here, and I don't see me. I'm so confused with this thing. Stuff doesn't make any sense. Doesn't make any sense right now. Hold on, y'all. I don't know what's going on. Give me a second. We're gonna start in a few minutes. I got two lives going, but I could only see one. I don't know why. I think I'm about to delete this one. I think I'm about to delete this one and redo it. Still live here. Let's try this again. To restart this live. Not this live, but let me do this over to figure out if something's causing this problem on my vertical. Technical difficulties. Give me a second. We're gonna start this show in a few minutes. Gotta figure these things out. Okay, 1 second. Transfer all this information over. Good morning, everybody. Hit the like button if you haven't already. You're not rocking out with Sis. Tell Wabbitbot good morning. Tell Wabbitbot good morning. Dang, Jackie. I really don't understand why this thing did this. Shout out to the chat. We rocking out, man. It's not gonna be a long, long live, but it's gonna be a pretty detailed live. We're gonna go into the King Andrew, how we got here with this King Andrew thing. It came on my desk. It fell on my desk. So, make sure. Okay. Slow start right here. Slow start. Hold on. Wait to make sure that the thing started. It's great. It started. This is weird. YouTube must be bugging out. Live. It's not on my page. Oh, now it is. Okay, finally. All right, guys. Sorry about that, everybody. Sorry about that. Um, couldn't figure it out. Could not figure it out. Let me finish sharing this stuff. Let me finish sharing these lives. All right, we about to start. We good to go now. We are good to go. The slow start, but we about to get there. The slow start, but it's very informative. Very informative. You know what I mean? I had the chance to go over some of this information myself last night, and I was like, very interesting. Prince Andrew, royal scumbag. Prince Andrew, royal scumbag. Man, god damn. What, talking about the filth of the royal family right here? I don't know. Does it get any worse than him? All types of allegations. I mean, they said this guy was down with the Epstein crew. He was just with Epstein the last time he was here. Yeah, it's crazy. So we gonna check this out, man. But this has been going on for quite a while. I mean, something happened in 2019. A woman came out, Virginia something. She came out and she spoke. She exposed all this stuff, and there's been a big cover up, and she's no longer with us. She's deceased by suicide. After a few attempts on her life, she died by suicide. I guess she was tired of people trying to kill her. So she said, you know what? To hell with it. Let me do it myself. You know? Um, it's interesting. I tried to find her interview, and she did an interview in 2019. Can't find that shit nowhere. I said, what the fuck? All you see is everybody talking about it. Can't find it. I said, ain't this some shit? So I looked, I searched, cannot find an interview that she did with the BBC. She did an interview with the BBC. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know where that interview at. We got little snippets from the interview. We gonna go through some backstory, some front story. So just bear with me. Give me a second. We gonna go through the backstory, the front story. We gonna learn some of this stuff. We gonna figure this out. We gonna figure this out, man. Yeah, I would have done all this already, but then my stuff was messing up. Figure it out, but it's figured. It's figured. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to everybody. Salute. What's up, Tesh? Katana, highly favorite. DG, what's up? Uncle L. Good morning, y'all. Good morning. What's going on, man? Good to see y'all. Good to see you, people. Good to see you. Hold on, let me make some other minor adjustments. Tesh Aziz, shout out to Tesh Aziz, continuing the rabbitry. What's up? What's up, Tesh? Give me 1 second here. Yeah, I forgot what I was doing. All right, let's get this show on the road. Let's get this show on the road, ladies and gentlemen. Happy to see you guys. I'm glad you're here. Um, Shelf over here. We're gonna move forward and then go backwards. You know what I mean? We're gonna move forward and then go backwards. Oh, where's yeah? But I ain't hear it. I saw it, but I ain't hear it. Hold on. Now one thing is the other. Pop up. See it pop up.
This is a test YouTube membership.
Yeah, I don't see it. That's that.
This is a test YouTube membership.
Oh, this stuff is broken. It's broken, y'all. I don't know what's up with it. Shout out to Tesh Aziz. That stuff is broken. All right, we're gonna go forward in time and then we're going backwards, man. The way it's going right now, um, we gotta we gotta figure out exactly what's happening right now so that we can go back to figure out what happened to get us here. So this is an interesting story, developing story, interesting developing story, and as we watch it develop, as we watch it develop, we're gonna go through some stuff to get some understanding.
King Charles has now begun the formal process to remove the titles and honours of his brother Andrew. Was Prince Andrew? Now he's just going to be known as Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. And action is also being taken to force him to surrender his lease at the Royal Lodge, the vast mansion that he lives in Windsor Park that he hasn't paid any rent on, or at least not directly. It comes as Andrew faces controversy. You're well aware of the reasons. It's all about Jeffrey Epstein. Max Foster is with me. The big difference here, Max.
Well, it's funny to me, right? Because it's been about Jeffrey Epstein. It's been a big situation. This guy is king of controversy, or should I say, prince of controversy. A lot been going on with him over the years, but his scandals with the Epstein thing has become a big deal. Um, I guess a lot of the stuff went under the rug, got swept under the rug during the time of the Epstein going to jail thing and him dying. But it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad, and we're gonna hear some of the testimony, and we're gonna hear some of the statements and things that this man has been involved in throughout the course of his royalty.
Until now, it's always been Andrew voluntary this, Andrew doing that, Andrew agreeing that, but this is different.
It's come from the king. He didn't object. I mean, read into that language, from the palace. He's basically been forced to not only stop using his titles, but he's going to be stripped of them. So they're saying you can't have them anymore. And we've talked before about how many of these titles were earned. So the Duke, his other Scottish titles as well. But the Prince title is something he was born with, and they're arguing that he should be able to keep that. Actually, that's been taken away as well. So he's only Andrew now, which is extraordinary. But the other
He's only Andrew now. Now that gotta feel like womp womp womp. The Duke of York, the Prince, all these other accolades and titles, you can't even use that now. He's been completely shamed by royal standards, man.
part of it is this issue that a lot of the British public have. And actually, there's been a lot of commentary in the UK how the media's behind on this. The public want him out of that house. And he's been evicted, effectively. I mean, whatever wording you want to put on it, he's been thrown out of that house. But he is being given another one, a smaller one, on the Sandringham estate, which is the king's private estate. So there's no public money involved there anymore.
But the fascinating part is that it's the king is doing this.
So my thing is, he went from super rich to regular rich. Okay.
It's formal. It's going to require various legal documents. And
Yes.
that's different to what we'd seen before. And in sending Andrew to Sandringham, essentially they are putting him into domestic exile. He's going off, no titles, we don't want to see you again.
They could have given him nothing at all. You know, they've given him a house. I think, actually, it's not going to be as clean as everyone thinks, because the king's still going to be accused of being part of the cover-up, because he's being protected by giving him a house. You know, a lot of the public want him completely out of the picture altogether, but it's probably the best compromise they can have. It's on a private estate. It's not a public estate. There's no public money involved.
Right, but what about the Sarah Ferguson, the former Duchess of York? Fergie, we believe, what, she's going to move in with him? She's already living with him in Royal Lodge.
Yeah, so it's you know what royal sources can be like. So when I was asking about Sarah Ferguson, where will she live? Sarah Ferguson will make her own arrangements.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of the old
Richard
Diana.
Banks.
She's no longer an HRH.
Yes.
She'll get on with it. And
But you're right, she'll be able to live with Andrew, probably. They're very protective.
daughters, then?
Yes, that's in.
I mean, this guy has been accused of some egregious things when it comes to young girls and stuff. Man, it's hard. I don't know how you walk in public with a guy who's been accused of those type of things.
Interesting, because they're very.
Have they
You know,
said
it's one of the first things they talked about, that as the daughters of the son, of a sovereign,
Yeah. Yes.
but they're not a son. Oh yes.
Yes, yes. The Queen, the late Queen.
Beatrice and Eugenie will retain their titles in line with King George V's Letton's patent, 1917. So, you know, as you know, they're very popular in the family. Their parents are less popular. I think, you know, there has been some reporting and some commentary, which hasn't been denied, that William has gone to them, and they've been very much part of the negotiation. And everyone wants to protect them. And that's the one part of this that everyone's agreed, from the King to William to Andrew to Fergie. They want to make sure the girls are okay, and they're going to be. And they've got apartments at Royal
Kensington, Kensington
yeah,
Palace.
one at St James's.
Yes, essentially. Yeah. Yes, sorry, St James's. But the other thing that's fascinating is we're going to see this at Christmas, because the royal family go to Sandringham at Christmas, by which time Andrew and Fergie could be living at Wood Farm or whatever they put them there. They won't be invited to the house for Christmas.
And we've been
lunch.
told that they're not invited to Christmas, but as you say, they're
So they don't get invited to Christmas and all that? Boy, this royal shaming ain't no joke. This royal shaming ain't no joke. They can't do none of that. No Christmas, even with the family. Oh man.
They're just down the road.
I mean, we shouldn't laugh. I mean, you know, this is so, it's kind of ridiculous on one level because this is a lot of minutiae that people don't really care about. It's a massive thing, obviously, for the royal family. But, you know, I have to, you know, this is the thing that we should talk about is that for the first time in a formal Buckingham Palace statement, they're saying our thoughts and utmost sympathies have been and will remain with the victims and survivors of any forms of abuse.
Wow.
And this has been the constant failure, certainly for Andrew.
So it's to the point to where his people know he did that. It's to the point to where his friends and family, they know he's guilty of all that abuse he's been accused of. That's what it sounds like.
You know, in the BBC interview, he didn't talk about the victims and survivors. Yeah. Actually, the royal family haven't talked enough about them either. And definitely behind the scenes, they've been completely aware of it. And I know that they have been very, you know, the victims and survivors have been at the forefront of their minds, but it hasn't been made clear to the public.
No, it has. Thank you, Max. Grateful to you. You've got a lot of work
Rachel
to do.
Banks.
I'm getting in bed anytime soon. Thank you. CNN's royal commentator Sally Bedell-Smith is on the line now. Sally, there's a strong argument that says this should have been dealt with by the late Queen all those years ago when she first stripped Andrew of his titles.
Really? I didn't even know she did that. But he's right. They should have been did this. From what I'm hearing is everybody knows. Everybody knows. And this dude, he had such a chip on his shoulder. He actually went and did an interview with the BBC. And I'm not sure if I want to watch that interview. It's like 49 minutes long. We're going to see some stuff that might highlight some stuff in the interview. But I don't know. I'll see if we really need to. I don't really think we need to watch it to get an understanding. But he did that interview. And we're going to talk about that in a minute.
And this was, she was too soft then. Did you buy that?
Not entirely. I think she was trying to keep the ship sailing. And there's so much more that we have learned. I think probably she was taking Andrew at his word when he said, for example, that he got everything off with Jeffrey Epstein in December 2010. And we now know through that leaked email or revealed email from 2 months later that he was writing a very cozy email to Jeffrey Epstein. So, I think there have been many more things that have sort of tumbled out in recent months. And I think it's easy to pass it off to the Queen, but I think they have, they really probably should have done something within the last year. But everything kind of converged this month.
Right. So what is it, do you think, that finally drew and pushed the king to do this? I mean, for instance, we saw the picture of at one of the girls' birthday parties of Epstein, Weinstein, and Maxwell, all sort of in a fancy dress. We've seen questions today about the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Edward's arrangements on his lease at Bagshot House. Do you think the king is really concerned that the waters are lapping too close to home?
Well, I do think so, because there have been a number of pieces over the last year that have raised questions about the financing of the royal family. And I think, they need to stanch the wound right now. Right. And I mean, just yesterday, the New Statesman magazine had a pretty rough cover story about calling for the abolition of the monarchy. Right. It's a very tough piece, And I think
The abolition of the monarchy. We talk about all our British history reaching an end and ending that whole lineage from when the Anglos and the Saxons and the people from the north and the people from the south, and all that, man. Y'all know the story of England, all the different tribes from the different areas and that came and took over that from from across the waters, the different. Oh yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting story of England's whole history and the different. Pretty interesting, and all these monarchs and yeah, it's pretty interesting. They're wiping them out their history. Hey, you know what? I tell you what. It's basically the end of an era of kings and queens and all that stuff. Is the end of an era. All that stuff is formal anyway. It's formal. You know what I mean? It's not even significant. It's just titles and stuff. So basically, the days of old. They getting rid of all that. And look at Meghan Markle and her husband and all that. Some of them people want to live regular lives without all that extra stuff. Oh, we gotta do this ceremony. Oh, we gotta do this extra. We gotta do a bunch of extra stuff instead of just sitting down at the dinner table. We gotta wait for all these announcements and ceremonies, and we gotta do all this stuff first before we could take a drink. And we just want to be regular. We just want to be regular rich. We want to be like the other rich people who just get to enjoy their money and do stupid stuff and just enjoy their money. We don't want to be royal rich where we can't do stuff and because we royalty. Yeah. I realize because they want to have fun, and this guy Andrew wants to abuse. So yeah.
And I don't think things like that can be ignored. I mean, we have seen since Prince Charles became king,
Right.
we've seen more Republicans out on the streets holding up banners saying, "You're not my, no more kings. You're not my king." And so I think they fear that this, if it were to continue, it would keep damaging the royal family and the monarchy.
Can I finally ask you, from my reading of this is because he's being sent to Sandringham, the private estate, got a house there, losing all. This is the closest one might define to sending him into domestic exile. In other words, in the old days, I like King, like the late, the abdicated king. He went to Paris. The last thing they want is Andrew overseas in Dubai, paparazzi galore. Send him into domestic exile, Sandringham estate, go away and disappear.
I think that's a very good analysis, Richard. I think
Interesting. But I see he's pushing that domestic exile. I think that's a talking point that they're trying to push. I think that's a term that they're trying to push. Domestic exile. He's trying to get her to say it. The thing about it is, I understand what he's saying. The whole term domestic exile, though, I think that's something that they're trying to push. The media always try to push narrative. So domestic exile, they want everybody to say that. And they want everybody to call it that. What he's pointing out makes sense, though, because somebody like Mr. Andrew, you're going to see him in the next club. As soon as he ain't king, as soon as he not royalty no more, the man going to be in the club, bro. Popping bottles, strippers around, all that. Listen, he going to be right on camera. He going to have a social media account where he going live all the time doing, listen, they don't need that. So I get it. That is a party animal right there, Mr. Andrew. Okay?
Excuse me. I think that he will be contained. There is security around. If he were, for example, to go to Wood Farm, where the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, lived in his last years, I think that would be a safe place. It's a place where Fergie and had stayed actually when they had Christmas at Sandringham, and she stayed there because the Queen sort of felt sorry for her, and so it's a place where people have been allowed to kind of take refuge.
Right.
And I wouldn't say that necessarily for him, but it is. I've seen it. I've been there. It's a very secluded place, and it has a lot of security,
Thank
which
you
is
very
important,
much.
and
Thank-
it's not something that he will have to pay for.
The King has said he was going to be paying for that. Thank you, Sally. Always good to have excellent insight from yourself. You not only know the story, you know the participants, you know the background. You're exactly the person we needed to talk to tonight. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us.
All right. So that's what's happening to him right now. That's what they're doing. That's what he's going through. That's what they're deciding. That's what they've decided. All right. Now, hearing all this stuff on the news, hearing it right now, it makes you wonder what happened. And you hear Epstein's name mentioned, and then the more they talk, the more you realize this has been going on for quite some time. And it's like, well, how has this been happening for so long? And he's been getting away with it. And he's royalty. And that's when you go down the story of I believe it Virginia. We're gonna get to her name. We got some articles we're gonna read, and we're gonna check out some clips um, to give us some context of what's been going on and why this man, why all this attention is on him, which has been on him for a while.
Prince Andrew's character has long been in question. From when he had lunch with a notorious member of the former Tunisian regime to when he took a holiday with a Libyan gun smuggler. And in 2011, he started facing criticism for his relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, who was first convicted as a sex offender in 2008. Fast forward to August 9, 2021. Virginia Giuffre files a 15-page civil lawsuit at the US District Court accusing Prince Andrew of, quote, sexual assault and battery against her in 2001 when
So this is where it starts getting spicy. Like, wait, what? Epstein. Now you got a girl who actually came out to speak on you. So it's starting to really unfold at this time. 2008, this guy gets arrested. 2011, they find out you got something to do with him, and now more and more stuff start coming out.
Virginia Giuffre files a 15-page civil lawsuit at the US District Court accusing Prince Andrew of, quote, sexual assault and battery against her in 2001 when she was just 17. According to Giuffre's lawyers, Epstein and his associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, ordered her to have sex with Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew then allegedly sexually assaulted her on 3 separate occasions. Now, sexual assault of a person Giuffre's age is a serious criminal offence. So why is Prince Andrew facing a civil case as opposed to a criminal trial?
Facing a civil case instead of a criminal trial. I mean, sexual abuse, we got the witness, the names is being called. I mean, this is sick. This is some sick stuff.
This is why. Let's start by understanding the difference between the two. To win a civil case, the plaintiff, or the person launching the lawsuit, needs to prove that their case is more probable than not. However, that standard of proof is much higher for criminal cases, where the prosecution needs to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the crime in question happened. One way evidence is gathered to prove a crime happened is through police investigation. Unfortunately for Giuffre, on October 11, 2021, the UK police said they would no longer be investigating the case, stating, "This review has concluded and we are taking no further action."
Well, there you have it. They said they was investigating and they decided to stop. Well, you don't got no choice at this point but to try to get something civil.
We have reviewed those, assessed those, and we have not opened an investigation.
Without evidence and without the police choosing to prosecute, the case will not take place in a criminal court. For his part, Prince Andrew has completely denied ever meeting Giuffre. In a 2019 interview with BBC's Newsnight, when asked about meeting Giuffre, Prince Andrew said,
"No, that couldn't have happened. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking."
The whole interview was dubbed a plane crash.
So this man did an interview with the BBC News before the girl did an interview with the BBC News. Now, they said that interview backfired on him terribly. Terribly. Okay? Chase back to what's up. Rumor Field.
I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking.
The whole interview was dubbed a plane crash.
I don't sweat. It was almost impossible for me to sweat.
The online reaction was overwhelming disbelief, and the interview became one big joke, despite Prince Andrew's insistence that it went well. Take this Google review, for example. "It has been 18 years since I visited, but I remembered like it was yesterday. I was sweating profusely, so were all the other customers. It was hot. The pizza was spicy. The atmosphere was electric. But one mysterious man was ice cool, sweat-free. I'll never forget it. He was like a prince amongst men." The interview was not deemed a success by the royal firm. Andrew stepped back as a senior royal after it aired. But it was also during the interview that Prince Andrew gave more context surrounding his relationship to Jeffrey Epstein. The prince says he met Epstein through Ghislaine Maxwell in 1999. Since then, Prince Andrew has admitted to travelling on Epstein's private plane, visiting his various estates, and inviting him to Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday. Months after Epstein was released from jail in 2010, Prince Andrew went to New York to supposedly end the friendship. However, while he was there, he continued to stay at Epstein's mansion for several days.
That didn't work out, did it? Like, yo, bro, ain't you supposed to be cutting ties with this dude? Oh, well, yeah, but I'm going to just stay here for a couple days before I say my final goodbye. You know what I mean? I'm going to just spend a couple days here with him before I say my final goodbyes. You know what I mean?
Jail in 2010, Prince Andrew went to New York to supposedly end the friendship. However, while he was there, he continued to stay at Epstein's mansion for several days. His reason?
It was a convenient place to stay.
Not only has Prince Andrew...
Bruh, really? Convenient? That was the word you came up with to explain why you were over there at a guy house who is getting charged for all kinds of stuff. It's convenient, man.
While he was there, he continued to stay at Epstein's mansion for several days. His reason?
It was a convenient place to stay.
I mean...
Not only has Prince Andrew denied all allegations, he has also been providing zero cooperation in the civil lawsuit Giuffre commenced against him. At first, he avoided being served the suit, hiding out at Balmoral Castle. Then he allegedly rejected requests to explore alternative dispute resolution. Giuffre's US lawyer David Boyes said process servers have shown up at his residence and they have refused to take the summons and refused to let the process servers in to serve. So where are we now? Prince Andrew's lawyers have filed to dismiss the US case. They believe that in 2009, Giuffre agreed not to sue anyone connected to Epstein when she settled her damages claim against him. However, the precise wording of the deal is currently confidential, and Giuffre's lawyers seem certain that it's irrelevant to the case. So, in the meantime, that continues, and new evidence is constantly coming to light. An eyewitness, the telecommunications specialist for Epstein's private island, Steve Scully, has recently spoken to 7 News Spotlight about Andrew and Virginia Giuffre, saying,
"He removed her bathing suit top and then started grinding against her and grabbing her ass."
What impact the revelations made in that interview remain to be seen. But for now, it's all in the hands of Virginia Giuffre and her lawyers as they try their hardest to prove exactly the type of man they say Prince Andrew really is.
Now, she was still alive at this point. She's no longer alive. Okay, Unfortunately, she's passed. This whole thing is sick. Now that interview was from that video was from 3 years ago. That video is 3 years old. Like I said, we're going back to find out why we're here. So we have a ABC News piece from November 30th, 2019. 30th, 2019. Let me. This news piece was done on November 30th, 2019. It says Virginia Roberts Giuffre opens up about Prince Andrew in new interview with BBC. So everywhere you look on the internet, they're gonna tell you about this interview that this woman did. Are you gonna find the interview? Hell no. You can find Prince Andrew's interview, but hers, I don't know.
Maxwell recruited her when she was 16, then groomed her.
We do start, though, with Britain's royal family bracing for the fallout over that first UK interview with a woman who says that she was directed to have sex with Prince Andrew.
So they bracing for the fallout. You hear what they said? They was bracing for the fallout. So you understand that there was some panic in the royal family, and this woman was she feared for her life. She feared for her life.
The BBC set to air an hour-long interview with Virginia Roberts Giuffre. And ABC's Julia McFarlane joins us now from our London bureau with more. Julia, good morning.
Good morning, Whit. Yes, that's right. Prince Andrew's woes dominated the headlines these last 2 weeks, and with this new interview with his accuser, this story is not going away. This morning, the palace surely is on guard as they prepare for the highly anticipated interview with Virginia Roberts Giuffre about her accusations.
It was a really scary time in my life.
Roberts Giuffre sitting down with BBC Panorama in her first UK interview, airing Monday. One of Jeffrey Epstein's accusers, she's alleging that she was 17 when she was directed to have sex with Prince Andrew in 2001. Prince Andrew categorically denies her allegations.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
Roberts Giuffre, now a 35-year-old mother, says British socialite Ghislaine Maxwell recruited her when she was 16, then groomed her to become Epstein's teenage sex slave. In court filings in a defamation case against Maxwell, Giuffre claimed Epstein ordered her to have sex with some of his powerful friends, including on 3 occasions Prince Andrew, in London, at Epstein's home in New York, and on his private Caribbean island. Maxwell is not facing any criminal charges in this case and has insisted all of Giuffre's allegations, including those about Prince Andrew, are false. The prince has said he had never witnessed any of the criminal conduct that Epstein was convicted or was accused of. Just weeks ago, Prince Andrew breaking his silence in an interview with the BBC, maintaining he has no recollection of Roberts Giuffre, denying all of her claims, including that he ever had sex with her.
You know what? The more they talk about this interview, the more I'm compelled to want to take a look.
You can say categorically that you don't recall meeting Virginia Roberts, dining with her, dancing with her at Tramp, or going on to have sex with her in a bedroom in a house in Belgravia.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Do you recall any kind of sexual contact with Virginia Roberts then or any other time?
None whatsoever.
And for this now infamous picture of the two together, the prince saying it could be a fake.
Oh, I was wondering with this picture that they kept showing. That's him and her. Oh, man, this guy here.
The fallout has been steep for the Queen's third child, now stepping away from his royal role and public duties for the foreseeable future.
So he went and lied about even knowing her on the national news station interview. This man lied about knowing her, and then the picture comes out. Like, look at you. Oh, it's fake, huh?
More than a dozen charities and organizations cut ties from him, like the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, distancing themselves from him.
Has it been long-term damage to the monarchy? I don't think so. It's certainly been extremely embarrassing for the Queen, embarrassing for the country, and has probably wrecked whatever good that Prince Andrew did in his royal career.
Well, Scotland Yard said this week it would not open a criminal investigation into the allegations because it would be largely focused outside of the UK. However, they added that they had liaised with other law enforcement organizations.
We do start, though, with Britain's royal family bracing for...
All right, so that was in 2019. So they really had no intentions of really prosecuting this stuff for real. They really didn't. They really did not. So here we have, see, this would have had some of the interview in it. Can't find it. This video would have had some of the interview from Virginia, but it's an error. Video file cannot be played. Like, they don't scrub the internet with this interview. Like, you can't get the full interview. So this article here, shout out to X. Shout out to X, formerly known as Twitter, because that's where you can get a lot of these clips from that interview. But let me read this article so that we get some context here. Some context, you know. So it says, oh shit. Only one of us is telling the truth. The biggest moments from Prince Andrew's accuser, Virginia Giuffre's BBC interview. Okay. The woman who says she was sex trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein and made to have sex at age 17 with the UK's Prince Andrew has called on the British public to stand up beside me in a BBC interview. Lord have mercy. She did a call, she called for help. She put out a signal. It says, this is not some sordid sex story. This is a story of being trafficked. This is a story of abuse, and this is a story of your guys' royalty. Virginia Giuffre, who is also known as Virginia Roberts, told BBC Panorama in an hour-long interview broadcast Monday night that I can't find nowhere. An hour-long interview I cannot find. Andrew has repeatedly denied Giuffre's allegations and said during an earlier BBC interview that he had no recollection of ever meeting her. Lies, I tell you. The lies he tells. During the interview, Giuffre challenged Andrew's denial and comments about her allegations, from his claim that he cannot sweat to the authenticity of a widely circulated photograph that allegedly shows the two together. She also became emotional as she recalled a wicked and really scary time in her life after she was allegedly abused by a member of the royal family. This is far from the first time Giuffre has aired her allegations against Epstein, the Duke of York. She has waged a campaign in lawsuits and news stories for years, but it comes weeks after the BBC broadcast a contentious interview with Andrew on November 16th in which he failed to express sympathy for Epstein's victims, said that he didn't regret his lengthy friendship with Epstein, and offered denials of wrongdoing that included a claim that he cannot sweat because of a medical condition from his military service in the Falklands War. The prince was widely criticized for the interview, which was labeled a public relations disaster by the UK media. Giuffre's interview was taped in late October before the UK's national broadcaster aired the sit-down interview with Andrew. He knows what happened, I know what happened, and there's only one of us telling the truth, Giuffre said in her BBC interview. Let's see.
It was a really scary time in my life.
The BBC speaks to the woman who says she was forced to have sex with Prince Andrew, an allegation the prince categorically denies.
He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth.
Panorama, The Prince and the Epstein Scandal, Monday at 9 on BBC One.
The BBC. So Andrew is just one of the many wealthy and powerful men that Giuffre has accused of having sex with her while she was allegedly a sex trafficking victim groomed by Epstein and his associate Ghislaine Maxwell. All have denied the allegations. Epstein died in an apparent suicide at a Manhattan jail in August while awaiting trial on sex trafficking charges. Andrew, Queen Elizabeth's second son, stepped down from his public royal duties less than a week after the interview was broadcast, explaining that his relationship with Epstein had become a major disruption to work by his family and charities that he supports. Buckingham Palace repeated their previous stance in a statement to the BBC with regards of Giuffre's interview, emphatically denying that Andrew had any form of sexual contact or relationship with her, but nothing that the Duke unequivocally regrets his ill-judged association with Jeffrey Epstein. So their main thing is he ain't do nothing. He just regrets being friends with Jeffrey. He innocent and he ain't do nothing wrong, and they don't do nothing wrong. They all innocent. It's just that, well, not they all. He's innocent. The only regrets here is knowing Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Giuffre reported Prince Andrew allegations to London police. Wow. During the interview, Giuffre said she made allegations against Andrew to the Metropolitan Police in London in 2015. She said the Metropolitan Police did not pursue a full investigation into the matter. Last week, London police acknowledged receiving a complaint in 2015 from a woman alleging that she was a victim of sex trafficking, the Associated Press reported. Metropolitan Police Commander Alex Murray said police concluded that the agency was not the appropriate authority to investigate because any investigation into human trafficking would be largely focused on activities and relationships outside the UK. What does that mean? Y'all don't got a department for that? What happened to the Fatty? What's up? Y'all don't got a department for that? What they call it, CIA and the FBI? Y'all don't got one of those? Let's stop playing, man. What's MI6? Like, what we doing, man? Y'all don't got a department for that? Giuffre called on British public for support. Giuffre urged the British public to support her and acknowledged that the way she was treated was not okay in the BBC interview. I implore the people in the UK to stand up beside me, to help me fight this fight, to not accept this as being okay, Giuffre said. This is not some sordid sex story. This is a story of being trafficked. This is a story of abuse. And this is a story of you guys as royalty.
I implore the people in the UK to stand up beside me, to help me fight this fight, to not accept this as being okay. This is not some sordid sex story. This is a story of being trafficked.
Giuffre says she was passed around like a platter between men. Giuffre described how the alleged encounter with Epstein and other wealthy men often began under the guise of a massage before turning sexual. Wow. She said during the interview that she went from being abused by Epstein to then being passed around like a platter of fruit. Terrible. Giuffre also alleged that she was instructed only to talk when she was talked to and be polite and friendly with Epstein's friends. She recalled flying on private jets and going to places she's never imagined she would visit. Giuffre called BS on claims photograph was fake. Giuffre pushed back against the idea that a widely circulated photograph that reportedly shows Andrew standing with his hand around her waist is doctored. The people on the inside are going to keep coming up with these ridiculous excuses like his arm was elongated or the photo was doctored, she said. I mean, I'm calling BS on this.
The people on the inside are going to keep coming up with these ridiculous excuses, like his arm was elongated, or the photo was doctored, or he came to New York to break up with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, come on. I'm calling BS on this because that's what it is. He knows what happened. I know what happened. And there's only one of us telling the truth, and I know that's me.
Andrew said he had absolutely no memory of the photograph being taken when Mateless showed it to him during his BBC interview. The prince said he could not determine if it was fake, but suggested that it may not have been taken in London because of what he was wearing. He added, "We can't be certain as to whether or not that's my hand." You know who can be certain, sir? You. We can't be certain. We? Bro, if anybody knows if it was your hand, it's you. Giuffre disputes Prince Andrew's sweat defense. Giuffre had previously described the prince as profusely sweating while they danced in a nightclub before they allegedly had sex later that night. Andrew responded in his BBC interview by saying it was almost impossible for me to sweat at the time due to a medical condition. He invoked his military service in the Falklands War by a way of explanation. Man, he get a one. Could you imagine the public listening to this nonsense? Like, yo, listen to this man. Listen to this guy. Giuffre reiterated her version of events in her BBC interview, saying that Andrew was sweating all over her. It was raining, basically. Everywhere I was just like grossed out from it, but I knew I had to keep him happy because that's what Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell would have expected from me. Man, she's a worker. She was a worker. Man, terrible, 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 terrible.
He asked me to dance. He is the most hideous dancer I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was horrible, and this guy was sweating all over me. Like, his sweat was like, it was raining basically everywhere, and I was just like, whoa, grossed out from it. But I knew I had to keep him happy because that's what Jeffrey and Ghislaine would expect from me.
Yuck. Giuffre, I didn't expect this from royalty. Giuffre then explained how her alleged night out with Andrew took a darker turn when she left the club. Giuffre said Maxwell told her that Andrew would be returning to the townhouse with them. In the car, Ghislaine Maxwell tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey. Oh, wow. God damn. And that made me sick, Giuffre said. I didn't expect it from royalty. I didn't expect it from someone who people look up to and admire, you know, in the royal family. Yikes. Shit. So.
We're having tea, and Andrew's talking about Fergie, which is his ex-wife at that point, and Ghislaine's bad-mouthing Fergie as well, and Epstein's just socially awkward, so I think he's just laughing about everything.
On that particular day that we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at I suppose, sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon.
We went into the VIP section. There was no waiting in the lines, obviously. You were with a prince. Andrew asked me what I wanted to drink, and I said, something from the bar. He had something clear. I know mine was vodka.
I'm convinced that I was never in trance with her. There are a number of things that are wrong with that story. One of which is that I don't know where the bar is in tramps. I don't drink. I don't think I've ever bought a drink in tramps whenever I was there.
So Andrew drives in the other car. He's not with us. He's with his security guards. And in the car, Ghislaine tells me that I have to do for Andrew what I do for Jeffrey. And that made me sick. I just didn't expect it from royalty. Well, there was a bath, and it started there, and then it led into the bedroom, and it didn't last very long, the whole entire procedure. It was disgusting. Damn. He wasn't mean or anything.
Yo.
He got up and he said thanks and walked out, and I sat there in bed just horrified and ashamed and felt dirty, and I had to get up and grab a shower, and it was a wicked time in my life. It was a really scary time in my life.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Do you recall any kind of sexual contact with Virginia Roberts then or any other time?
None whatsoever.
I might have to watch this interview. Giuffre grew emotional when she recalled details from her alleged sexual encounter with Andrew. She said that he wasn't mean or anything, but he got up and said thanks. After that, she sat there in bed just horrified and ashamed. The next day, Maxwell allegedly told her that she did a really good job. It was a wicked time in my life. It was a really scary time in my life. I had just been abused by a member of the royal family, Giuffre said. She began to cry in the interview as she went on. I couldn't comprehend how, in the highest levels in the government, powerful people were allowing this to happen. Not only allowing it to happen, but participating in it. As she continued to cry, the interviewer asked if she would like to stop the interview, if you don't mind, just for a moment, she said. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. All right. So I'm gonna have to watch this interview just to wrap this up, because I don't think I'm gonna revisit this unless they locking his ass up. Yeah, the next time I think I'm gonna speak on this topic would be when they locking this guy up. I don't think I have anything more to speak on this. It came across my desk. I was like, what the hell? And into it, and I said, you know what? I'm going to do something on this, and then I'm going to move on. But definitely wanted to do something on it. And this interview seemed to cause a lot more problems for him, and actually exposed him as a liar to pretty much the whole world. And the more they speak on this interview, the more I want to actually see it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to play this interview, and then I'm getting out of here. So just to make sure that we all get the context, and we understand how we got here. I think at this point, most of us can see that this guy is problematic. And you could tell that there's been a big effort to make sure that he doesn't go to jail, or they deny any criminal wrongdoing, but they don't deny that wrongdoing was done. So whatever the wrongdoing is, they just deny that it's criminal. So let's check this interview out.
We've come to Buckingham Palace.
This is Prince Andrew's interview. That he did, I believe it's 2019. 2019. So let's hear what the Prince got to say.
In highly unusual circumstances. Normally, we'd be discussing your work, your duty. We'll come on to that. But today, you've chosen to speak out for the first time. Why have you decided to talk now?
Because there is no good time to talk about Mr. Epstein and all things associated. We've been talking to Newsnight for about 6 months about doing something around the work that I was doing. And unfortunately, we've just not been able to fit it into either your schedule or my schedule until now. And actually, it's a very good opportunity. And I'm delighted to be able to see you today.
So you ain't hear that the girl did a whole interview about you? Because what happened is this guy's interview was done after her interview. His interview aired before her interview aired. So he already knew about her interview. They already heard. That's why he's going to be questioned about it, about things she said in her interview, in this interview. But his got aired first. And I found that to be odd. Like, I believe, this is me believing, I believe that those people, the news station, whoever interviewed her, got in contact with his people and let them know, like, listen, we just interviewed a woman and she's saying a bunch of stuff about you. We need to do damage control right now. Get down here and let's do an interview and try to fix this. I think that's what happened.
As you say, all of this goes back to your friendship with Jeffrey Epstein. How did you first become friends? How did you meet?
Well, I met through his girlfriend back in 1999, and I'd known her since she was at university in the UK. And it would be, to some extent, a stretch to say that as it were, we were close friends. I mean, we were friends because of other people. And I had a lot of opportunity to go to the United States, but I didn't have much time with him. I suppose I saw him once or twice a year, perhaps maybe maximum of 3 times a year. And quite often, if I was in the United States and doing things, and if he wasn't there, he would say, well, why don't you come and use my houses? So I said, that's very kind. Thank you very much indeed.
Spent a lot of time with that man. Sound like every time you left the country, you went and checked him.
But it would be a considerable stretch to say that he was a very, very close friend. But he had the most extraordinary ability to bring extraordinary people together.
Bro, these extraordinary people, you mean those young girls that you probably just couldn't get anywhere? Because he had this whole illegal sex trafficking thing going on. So the people that you were meeting were people that you probably wouldn't meet nowhere because they were sex slaves. That's the extraordinary man. Listen,
and that's the bit that I remember, is going to the dinner parties where you would meet academics, politicians, people from the United Nations. I mean, it was a cosmopolitan group.
Bro, you the prince. That type of stuff is normal for you. You meeting politicians. He's saying it was such a great experience going over there because you get to meet all these prominent people. Bro, you're the prince of... What are we talking about? Bro, all you meet is prominent people all day. Like, you don't meet regular folk. This guy here acting like it was a special privilege, man. I never seen this kind of royalty before. When I go over there, I get to meet royalty. Like, bro, you are the prince, sir. How dare you make it seem like they was offering more extravagant or more important people than you knew? Bro, you're the prince. Man, stop playing with me.
The bit that I remember is going to the dinner parties where you would meet academics, politicians, people from the United Nations. I mean, it was a cosmopolitan group of what I would describe as US eminence.
Was that his appeal then? Was that what you... Because you were perceived by the public as being the party prince. Was that something you shared?
I think that's also a bit of a stretch.
Prince? Never seen this interview. I don't know what I'm about to hear. I heard about it, but man, we got clips from it. But the party prince... You can tell why he wanted to be with Epstein. No, Epstein was throwing parties, not dinners. Epstein was the P. Diddy of them. Epstein had them Diddy parties. It's just that I ain't hear too much about young girls and Diddy parties, but just imagine Diddy parties, but with young girls. That's him.
I don't know why I've collected that title, because I never have really partied. I was single for quite a long time in the early 80s, but then after I got married, I was very happy, and I've never really felt the need to go and party. And certainly, going to Jeffrey's was not about partying. Absolutely not.
You said you weren't very good friends, but would you describe him as a good friend? Did you trust him?
Yes, I think I probably did. But again, I don't go into a friendship looking for the wrong thing, if you understand what I mean. I'm an engaging person. I want to be able to engage. I want to find out. I want to learn. And so you have to remember that I was transitioning out of the Navy at the time. And in the transition, I wanted to find out more about what was going on. Because in the Navy, it's a pretty isolated business because you're out at sea the whole time. And I was going to become the Special Representative for International Trade and Investment. So I wanted to know more about what was going on in the international business world. And so that was another reason for going there. And the opportunities that I had to go to Wall Street and other places to learn whilst I was there were absolutely vital.
He was your guest as well. In 2000, Epstein was a guest at Windsor Castle and at Sandringham. He was brought right into the heart of the royal family at your invitation.
But certainly at my invitation, not at the royal family's invitation. But remember that it was his girlfriend that was the key element in this. He was the, as it were, plus one to some extent in that aspect.
Am I right in thinking you threw a birthday party for Epstein's girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, at Sandringham?
No, it was a shooting weekend.
A shooting weekend.
Just a straightforward shooting weekend.
But during these times that he was a guest at Windsor Castle at Sandringham, the shooting weekend, we now know that he was and had been procuring young girls for sex trafficking.
We now know that. At the time, there was no indication to me or anybody else that that was what he was doing. And certainly, when I saw him either in the United States, when I saw him in the United States, or when I was staying in his houses in the United States, there was no indication, absolutely no indication.
You getting accused, bro. Your name is in the accusation, though. The Beef Sector Podcast. Your name is right in the accusation, though. Okay.
And if there was, you have to remember that at the time, I was patron of the NSBCC's Full Stop campaign, so I was close up with what was going on in those.
BBC hitting my page for this motherfucker. What's up? Bro, what you doing, bro? BBC over here like, sir, what are you doing with our content?
Time about getting rid of abuse to children, so I knew what the things were to look for, but I never saw them.
So you would have made that connection because you stayed with him, you were a visitor, a guest on many occasions at his homes, and nothing struck you as suspicious?
Nothing.
During that whole time?
Nothing.
Just for the record, you've been on his private plane?
Yes.
You've been to stay on his private island.
Yes.
You've stayed at his home in Palm Beach.
Yes.
You've visited Ghislaine Maxwell's house in Belgravia in London.
Yes.
So in 2006, in May, an arrest warrant was issued for Epstein for sexual assault of a minor.
Yes.
In July, he was invited to Windsor Castle to your daughter, Princess Beatrice's 18th birthday. Why would you do that?
Because I was asking Ghislaine. But even so,
The BBC. Yeah. BBC ain't playing with me right now, y'all. So, so, the BBC. Playing. They ain't playing. You hear what I'm saying? BBC ain't playing. All right.
at the time, I don't think certainly I wasn't aware when the invitation was issued what was going on in the United States. And I wasn't aware until the media picked up on it, because he never said anything about it.
He never discussed with you the
never
fact
discussed it.
that an arrest warrant had been issued. So he came to that party knowing police were investigating him.
Well, I'm not quite sure. Was it police? I don't know. You see, this is the
It was
problem.
the
I
Palm
really
Beach
don't know.
police at the time.
But I mean, I'm afraid this is the problem. Is that an awful lot of this was going on in the United States, and I wasn't a party to it, and I knew nothing about it.
In 2008, he was convicted of soliciting and procuring a minor for prostitution. He was jailed. This was your friend. How did you feel about it?
Well, I ceased contact with him after I was aware that he was under investigation. And that was later on in 2006. And I wasn't in touch with him again until 2010. So it was one of those things that if somebody's going through that sort of thing, well, I'm terribly sorry, I can't be...
So no contact.
No contact.
When he was serving time, there was no call, no letter, nothing there.
No.
He was released in July. Within months, by December of 2010, you went to stay with him at his New York mansion. Why? Why were you staying with a convicted sex offender?
Right. I have always, ever since this has happened... And
Hold on. I just realized what's happening. Like, wait, after we found out you went, after this interview, you wait. Was it this interview? No, it had to be before this interview. So after we found out, because he went, when did he go to jail? Like 2008? They found out. So you tell me after 2008, you went to this man's house, you was a dummy. You're sick, bruh. Nah, brother.
Since this has become, as it were, public knowledge that I was there, I've questioned myself as to why did I go, what was I doing, and was it the right thing to do? Now, I went there with the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together.
You went to tell him that in person? Man, listen. I'd have had my secretary call you, bro. This guy is something else. So wait, you went to let him know in person that you can't talk to him no more? What you wanted to say, a final goodbye, man? You know, this last meeting had to be special. Hey, man, you know, this is the last time we're going to see each other again. Like, what the hell? This guy can't be serious, man.
With the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together. And I had an...
Let me go back. This guy done found out this man is a convicted sex trafficker and decides, well, I just decide I'm going to go see him one last time to let him know that we can't see each other no more. That's why they say this interview was a disgrace. This guy, he can't be real.
I have always, ever since this has happened, and since this has become, as it were, public knowledge that I was there, I've questioned myself as to why did I go, what was I doing, and was it the right thing to do? Now, I went there with the sole purpose of saying to him that because he had been convicted, it was inappropriate for us to be seen together. And I had a number of people counsel me in both directions, either to go and see him or not to go and see him. And I took the judgment call that because this was serious, and I felt that doing it over the telephone was the chicken's way of doing it. I had to go and see him and talk to him. And I went to see him, and I was doing a number of other things in New York at the time, and we had an opportunity to go for a walk in the park, and that was the conversation.
BBC don't seem to be messing with me when it's like this. I'm about to see what I can do. I'm about to see how far BBC let me go. With the BBC. I want to see how far the BBC let me go, man. Maybe I can. Let's see how far the BBC let a nigga go. Excuse my language.
Coincidentally, that was photographed, which was when I said to him, I said, look, because of what has happened, I don't think it is appropriate that we should remain in contact. And by mutual agreement during that walk in the park, we decided that we would part company, and I left, I think it was the next day.
They had a walk in the
and
park?
Up to this day,
Oh, Lord. Hold on, let me see. Watch out for these things here.
never had any contact with him from that day forward.
What did he say when you told him that you were
Appropriate. Coincidentally, that was photographed, which was when I said to him, I said, look, because of what has happened, I don't think it is appropriate that we should remain in contact. And by mutual agreement during that walk in the park, we decided that we would part company, and I left, I think it was the next day. And to this day, I never had any contact with him from that day forward.
What did he say when you told him that you were breaking up the friendship?
He was what I would describe as understanding. He didn't go into any great depth in the conversation about what I was doing, or what he was doing, except to say that he'd accepted whatever it was, a plea bargain. He'd served his time, and he was carrying on with his life. See what I mean? And I said yes, but I'm afraid to say that's as maybe. But with all the attendant scrutiny on me, then I don't think it is a wise thing to do.
Who advised you then that it was a good idea to go and break up the friendship? Did that come from the palace? Was Her Majesty the Queen involved?
No. That came from... So there were a number of people who so some people from my staff, some people from friends and family I was talking to, and I took the decision that it was, I had to show leadership, and I had to go and see him, and I had to tell him, that's it.
That was December of 2010. He threw a party to celebrate his release, and you were invited as the guest of honour.
Oh.
Yo, this just gets worse and worse and worse. Wait, did you... He celebrated getting released, and you was the guest of honor. Yeah, he better not have gone.
In 2010, there certainly wasn't a party to celebrate his release in December, because it was a small dinner party. There were only 8 or 10 of us, I think.
Is this after the time you still went there?
At dinner. If there was a party, then I'd know nothing about that.
You were invited to that dinner as a guest of honour?
Well, I was there, so there was a dinner. I don't think it was quite as you might put it, but yeah, okay, I was there at a dinner, yeah.
Bro, you saying that's after you found out this man's a sex trafficker? Your man's over here like, yeah, well, I mean, I wasn't invited. It was a dinner.
Just trying to work this out, because you said you went to break up the relationship, and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long...
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
Like what, bro?
You were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay.
I've never heard an answer like that for that type of statement. Oh my God! Let me see his face. Let me see your face, bro. My man took a deep breath and said, hold on. She said, you spent several days. You spent several days at the house of a convicted sex offender. It was a convenient place to stay, man. It was just, I didn't feel like going to the hotel at the time. I was already there. Said, you know, yeah, I'll save some money. You know, I didn't make reservations at the hotel. He already had the bed and everything. I was like, you know, I would have had to get my credit card and my ID and all that stuff and call a cab. And I was like, you know, I'm already here, man. It don't make no sense to take my stuff and go all the way to the hotel and pay. And when my like, what in the world is a convenient place to stay in a sex offender house? What is convenient about being at a sex offender house that you know is a sex offender? This guy crazy.
Okay, I was there at dinner, yeah.
I'm just trying to work this out because you said you went to break up the relationship and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long.
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've
I'm making this into a short. What? This going into a short. This man said, this is convenient. I can't believe I heard this come out this man's mouth right now to that question. Like, could you? This ain't real. This can't be real. This can't be real. God damn it.
Doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
I got a new phone number. I ain't give nobody yet. And it's ringing. But I ain't tell not one person in the world yet, and the phone is ringing. How? Who do I give you to? I ain't give nobody this number yet, bro. This is my business number. I got a business number now. So I got a number just for my business. But nobody has it yet because I just got it. And it's ringing. I'm sorry. That stuff like that just drives me crazy. It's ringing. And by the way, you can check out the We the Wabbit store. We got all kind of merch. It's a great way to support the channel. And I'm gonna put my business number on the website and all that. But we got mugs, all kind of stuff. But the hell just called me, bro? I'm not picking it up. I don't want to encourage people calling me. Anyway, Miss Melanie, what's up? Yo, this is crazy. I got to do something with this. My ears don't believe it heard this.
You stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long.
But I was doing a number, didn't I? Yep.
I'm just trying to work this out because you said you went to break up the relationship and yet you stayed at that New York mansion several days. I'm wondering how long.
But I was doing a number of other things while I was there.
But you were staying at the house of a convicted sex offender.
It was a convenient place to stay. I've gone through this in my mind so many times. At the end of the day, with the benefit of all the hindsight that one could have, it was definitely the wrong thing to do. But at the time, I felt it was the honourable and right thing to do. And I admit fully that my judgment was probably coloured by my tendency to be too honourable, but that's just the way it is.
Tendency to be too honourable. Going to spend days at a time with someone you already found out is a convicted sex offender.
During that time, those few days, witnesses say they saw many young girls coming and going at the time. There is video footage of Epstein accompanied by young girls.
This interview, bro. Yo, you hear what they saying?
And you were there staying in his house, catching up with friends.
If they were, then I wasn't a party to any of that.
So you ain't see them? You ain't see not one of them? You ain't see them walk past or nothing?
Saw them. You have to understand that his house, I described it more as almost as a railway station, if you know what I mean, in the sense that there were people coming in and out of that house all the time. What they were doing and why they were there, I had nothing to do with. So I'm afraid I can't make any comment on that because I really don't know.
Could you imagine that you know this is a sex offender house? If I see any women in there, I'm a little worried. Like, yo, bro. Yo, bro. I don't even think you should be around women, bro. Or especially anybody that look like they're young.
Another guest was John Brockman, the literary agent. Now, he described seeing you there getting a foot massage from a young Russian woman. Did that happen?
No.
You're absolutely sure or you can't remember?
Absolutely sure.
So John Brockman's statement is false?
I don't know Mr. Brockman, so I don't know what he's talking about.
Bro, this is what liars do. This is a liar if you've never seen one before. A person who can't say you lying Even when he say that it's not true, he can't say it's a lie. So are you saying that this person lied on you? Hell yes. I wasn't there. He ain't never see me do that. I ain't never get on foot massage. That is a liar, whoever that is, and whoever told you that is a liar. I'm not gonna make up an excuse. Well, I wouldn't call him a liar. I'm just saying I'm not sure why he would say. I would call him a liar, especially if those words came out his mouth on me. I'd call him a liar real quick. I don't understand this.
Can't remember.
Absolutely sure.
So John Brockman's statement is false.
I don't know Mr. Brockman, so I don't know what he's talking about.
But that definitely wasn't you getting a foot massage from a Russian girl in Jeffrey Epstein's house.
No.
It might seem a funny way to break off a friendship, a 4-day house party of sorts with a dinner. It's an odd way to break up a friendship.
It's a difficult way of putting it. That's a very stark way of putting it. Yes, you're absolutely right. But actually, the truth of it is that I actually only saw him for about the dinner party, the walk in the park, and probably passing in the passage.
So let's go to
Too much. That's too much to do with a sex offender, bro. That you know at the time is a sex offender. That's a lot of activities, bro.
that Central Park walk, which was snapped. Friends of yours suggest that Epstein wanted that photo taken. Perhaps he'd even set it up. Do you worry that you were being played?
Again, new information is coming out since his suicide has made us reappraise that walk in the park. We can't find any evidence, or my staff and my people and I can't find any evidence to suggest that that was what he was doing. I mean, you can look at it in so many different ways. The fact of the matter is that somebody very cleverly took that photograph. It wasn't, as far as I remember, nor do my security people remember anybody being present or close, because there were enough security around. I mean, there were photographs of the security people around in the photo. So I mean, he could have done, but
Yeah, I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel that you were part of Epstein's public rehabilitation?
Oh no, funny enough, I don't. No, I mean, if he was doing, if that photograph was taken with that purpose in mind, then it doesn't equate to what actually happened.
So why wouldn't you announce this breakup when you got back? Why wouldn't you publicly explain what you'd done? Did you worry that he had something that could compromise you?
No, no.
Do you regret that trip?
Yes.
Do you regret the whole friendship with Epstein?
Now, still not, and the reason being is that the people that I met.
The dummy. You just say he did not regret it.
With Epstein? Had something that could compromise you?
No, no.
Do you regret that trip?
Yes.
Do you regret the whole friendship with Epstein?
Now, still not, and the reason being is that the people that I met and the opportunities that I was given to learn, either by him or because of him, were actually very useful.
You could have learned that somewhere else, bro. You're the prince, bro. You telling me you couldn't meet somebody else to give you that same stuff? Come on, man.
He himself, not as it were as close as you might think. We weren't that close. So therefore, I mean, yes, I would go and stay in his house, but that was because of his girlfriend, not because of him.
Was that visit, December of 2010, the only time you saw him after he was convicted?
Yes,
Did you
yeah.
see him or speak to him again?
No, that was that.
Never
2010 was it. That was it. Because I went. Well, first of all, I wanted to make sure that if I was going to go and see him, I had to make sure that there was enough time between his release, because it wasn't something that I was going into in a hurry, but I had to go and see him. I had to go and see him.
And stay with him and stay in the house.
I could easily have gone and stayed somewhere else, but sheer convenience of being able to get a hold of the man was.
This man is saying.
I mean, he was in and out all over the place. So getting him in one place for a period of time to actually have a long enough conversation to say, look, these are the reasons why I'm not going to, and that happened on the walk.
July of this year, Epstein was arrested on charges of sex trafficking and abusing dozens of underage girls. One of Epstein's accusers, Virginia Roberts, has made allegations against you. She says she met you in 2001. She says she dined with you, danced with you at Tramp nightclub in London. She went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady.
God damn, that's not a denial, bro. Oh, Speaks, what up? That's not a denial, bro. That is damn near you letting me know that you don't want to say no. You don't remember meeting her. So it's possible you met her. That's all you saying to me. All I'm hearing is there's a possibility. I just don't remember right now. Well, okay. You sure you want to go down this road, sir?
With you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell, your friend. Your response?
I have no recollection of ever meeting this lady. None whatsoever.
You don't remember meeting her?
No.
She says she met you in 2001. She dined with you. She danced with you. You bought her drinks. You were in Tramp nightclub in London. And she went on to have sex with you in a house in Belgravia belonging to Ghislaine Maxwell.
Didn't happen.
Do you remember her?
No. I have no recollection of ever meeting her. I'm almost, in fact, I'm convinced that I was never in Tramps with her. There are a number of things that are wrong with that story. One of which is that I don't know where the bar is in Tramps. I don't drink. I don't think I've ever bought a drink in Tramps whenever I was there.
Do you remember dancing at Tramp?
No. That couldn't have happened because the date that is being suggested, I was at home with the children.
You know that you were at home with the children. Was it a memorable night?
On that particular day that we now understand is the date, which is the 10th of March, I was at home. I was with the children. I'd taken Beatrice to a Pizza Express in Woking for a party at, I suppose, sort of 4 or 5 in the afternoon. And then, because the Duchess was away, we have a simple rule in the family that when one's away, the other one's there. I was on terminal leave at the time from the Royal Navy, so therefore I was at home.
Why would you remember that so specifically? Why would you remember a Pizza Express birthday and being at home?
Because going to Pizza Express in Woking is an unusual thing for me to do. A very unusual thing for me to do. I've only been to Woking a couple of times, and I remember it weirdly, distinctly. As soon as somebody reminded me of it, I went, oh yes, I remember that. But I have no recollection of ever meeting or being in the company or the presence.
So you're absolutely sure that you're at home on the 10th of March?
Yeah.
She was very specific about that night. She described dancing with you and you profusely sweating, and that she went on to have bath, possibly.
There's a slight problem with
Laughed at that sweat comment. He probably remembered as soon as she said that. He probably was like, yeah, I was sweating. I was sweating crazy that night. He laughed as soon as she said that, boy. I think that was a guilty laugh. He was like, ha, man, I sure was sweating that night, man.
The sweating, because I have a peculiar medical condition, which is that I don't sweat, or I didn't sweat at the time. And that was, oh, actually, yes, I didn't sweat at the time because I had suffered what I would describe as an overdose of adrenaline in the Falklands War when I was shot at. And I simply, it was almost impossible for me to sweat. And it's only because I have done a number of things in the recent past that I'm starting to be able to do that again. So I'm afraid to say that there's a medical condition that says that I didn't do it, so therefore.
Is it possible that you met Virginia Roberts, dined with her, danced with her in Tramp, had sex with her on another date?
No.
Do you remember meeting her at all?
No.
Do you know you didn't meet her, or do you just not remember meeting her?
No, I don't know if I've met her, but no, I have no.
See, he's just being able to say, hey, I didn't say I didn't know her. I just said I couldn't remember.
Recollection of meeting her.
Because she was very specific. She described the dance that you had together in...
Yo, no, you know, it was this one guy who had a rape allegation in the state of Connecticut. And he took a plea deal to a lesser charge. And in the transcripts of the case, the prosecutor said that the dude admitted to having consensual sex with the girl. And when questioned about, hey, sir, why did you tell the prosecutors that you had consensual sex with the girl? And he says, I don't remember what happened. I don't remember what happened that night. I said, wow. First of all, you said you didn't have sex with her, and he took a plea deal just because, you know, he was scared and all that, right? He said he didn't have sex with the girl, but in the transcripts, the prosecutor said that he told them he did. So when confronted with that information, hey, why did you tell the prosecutors? Man, I don't remember. That's what this sounds like. It sounds like when you don't remember so that you don't have to say that you did that stuff. You don't have to say that you did something that you already denied, because he's denying even knowing her or ever meeting her. But then again, he might get caught up. So he's going to have to use not remembering what he did in order to be able to go back on anything he said prior.
Remember
No,
meeting her?
I don't know if I've met her, but no, I have no recollection of meeting her.
Because she was very specific. She described the dance that you had together in Tramp. She described meeting you. She was a 17-year-old girl meeting a senior member of the royal family.
Never happened.
She provided a photo of the two of you together.
Yes.
Your arm was around her waist.
Yes.
You've seen the photo?
I've seen the photograph.
How do you explain that?
I can't.
I can't. I can't explain that. You got me.
Because I have absolutely no memory of that photograph ever being taken.
Do you recognise yourself in the photo?
Yeah, it's pretty difficult.
See, just like the guy that I was talking about, when confronted with the evidence of your own words, you said you've never met her before. Well, here's proof that you have. Oh, well, I don't remember meeting her. I don't remember. Okay. This is what a lot of liars do, man. You got to watch them, especially when they're guilty. This is the clear sign of guilt right here.
Not to recognise yourself.
Your friend suggested that the photo is fake.
I think it's, from the investigations that we've done, you can't prove whether or not that photograph is faked or not, because
This is crazy, bro.
it is a photograph of a photograph of a photograph. It's very difficult to be able to prove it, but I don't remember that photograph ever being taken.
But it's possible that it was you with your arm around
That's
her waist.
me, but whether that's my hand or whether that's the position, I have simply no recollection of a photograph ever being taken.
The world has now seen the photo that Virginia Roberts provided, taken by Epstein, we understand, in Ghislaine Maxwell's house.
Well, here's the problem. I've never seen Epstein with a camera in my life.
I think it was Virginia Roberts' camera. She said a little Kodak one that she lent to Epstein. He took a photo, and your arm is round her waist.
I don't remember that photograph ever being taken. I don't remember going upstairs in the house, because that photograph is taken upstairs. And I'm not entirely convinced that, I mean, that is what I would describe as me in that picture. But I can't
even know exactly which part of the house that picture was took.
we can't be certain as to whether or not that's my hand on her, whatever it is, left side.
You think that...
Because I have no recollection of that photograph ever being taken.
So why would somebody have put in another hand? You think it is you next to her in the photo?
Well, it's definitely me. I mean, that's a picture of me. It's not a picture of... I don't believe it's a picture of me in London, because when I go out in London, I wear a suit and a tie. That's what I would describe as, those are my travelling clothes if I'm going overseas. So I've got plenty of photographs of me dressed in those sorts of sort of kit, but not there.
Just to clarify, so you think that photo has been faked?
Nobody can prove whether or not that photograph has been doctored, but
Tell you something. If you ain't never take that picture with that girl, you would be like, yeah, it's fake.
I don't recollect that photograph ever being taken.
That's your best answer, to say I don't remember. So is it possible that that was you then, and you just don't remember?
You don't recollect having your hand round her waist in Ghislaine Maxwell's house on any occasion, even if it was a different
I'm
date?
sorry, but if I, as a member of the royal family, and I have a photograph taken, and I take very, very few photographs, I am not one to, as it were, hug, and public displays of affection are not something that I do. So that's the best explanation I can give you. And I'm afraid to say that I don't believe that photograph was taken in the way that has been suggested.
Why would people not believe that you were there?
I'm sorry, why would...
I'm just trying to understand. There's a photo inside Ghislaine Maxwell's house. Ghislaine herself is in the background. Why would people not believe that you were there with her that night?
Well, they might well wish to believe it, but the photograph is taken upstairs, and I don't think I ever went upstairs in Ghislaine's house.
You're sure of that?
Yeah, because the dining room and everything was on the ground floor. It was as you came in the hall.
She looking at him straight, like, bruh. She looking at him like, bro, you know you full of shit, right?
So I don't remember ever going up there. I'm at a loss to explain this particular photograph. If the original was ever produced, then perhaps we might be able to solve it. But I can't.
You can say categorically that you don't recall meeting Virginia Roberts, dining with her, dancing with her at Tramp, or going on to have sex with her in a bedroom in a house in Belgravia?
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Do you recall any kind of sexual contact with Virginia Roberts then or any other time?
None whatsoever.
Because she said in a legal deposition, a legal court document in 2015, she had sex with you 3 times. She is not confused about this. She said the first was in London when she was trafficked to you. The second was at Epstein.
Laughs that type of stuff off, bro. Are we back? I don't know. The weirdest shit just happened. Everything just, my internet was still on, but everything disconnected and just wasn't showing. Are we back? Because I don't know what the fuck. Yo, Lord of mercy. I don't know what just happened. Like, I can't explain what just happened, bro. All I just see is it said shit was disconnected, but I was still live. All right, let me go back a little bit because I'm not sure what I'm over here talking, and then I just noticed that the chat is no longer motherfucking chatting. Excuse my. What does the chat say? I never disconnected. That's crazy because I'm over here like, what the hell's wrong with my internet, man? I can't even, you know what I mean? But all right, we good, we good. All right, shout out to the chat. Let's go back a little bit and then move forward. You know, make sure we ain't missed nothing.
They might well wish to believe it, but the photograph is taken upstairs, and I don't think I ever went upstairs in Ghislaine's house.
You're sure of that?
Yeah, because the dining room and everything was on the ground floor. Was as you came in the hall. So I don't remember ever going up there. I'm at a loss to explain this particular photograph. If the original was ever produced, then perhaps we might be able to solve it. But I can't.
You can say categorically that you don't recall meeting Virginia Roberts, dining with her, dancing with her at Tramp, or going on to have sex with her in a bedroom in a house in Belgravia.
I can absolutely categorically tell you it never happened.
Do you recall any kind of sexual contact with Virginia Roberts then or any other time?
None whatsoever.
Because she said in a legal deposition, a legal court document in 2015, she had sex with you 3 times. She is not confused about this. She said the first was in London when she was trafficked to you. The second was at Epstein's mansion in New York.
That is a date in April, I believe. Is that correct?
She said it was a month or so later.
Yeah. Well, I think that the date that we have for that shows that I was in Boston, or I was in New York the previous day, and I was at a dinner for the Outward Bound Trust in New York, and then I flew up to Boston the following day. And then on the day that she says that this occurred, they'd already left to go to the island before I got back from Boston. So I don't think that could have happened at all.
There was a witness there, Johanna Stolberg, who says that you did visit the house in that month.
I probably did. I don't think. On one of the weird things, I was staying with the because of what I was doing. I was staying with the Consul General, which is further down the street on Fifth. So I wasn't staying there. I may have visited, but no. Definitely no activity.
Because in a legal deposition, 2015, she said she had sex with you 3 times. Once in a London house when she was trafficked to you in Maxwell's house.
Trafficked
once in
to
New
her.
York a month or so later at Epstein's mansion, and once on his private island in a group of 7 or 8 other girls.
No.
No to all of it?
All of it. Absolutely no to all of it.
Why would she be saying those things?
We wonder exactly the same. But I have no idea. Absolutely no idea.
She made these claims in a US deposition. Are you saying you don't believe her, she's lying?
That's a very difficult thing to answer because I'm not in a position to know what she's trying to.
Hold on. I ain't gonna lie. These kind of answers just don't make sense. What do you mean you're not in a position to anything? The accusations is on you. She's saying you did this to her. Are you saying she's lying? Well, I don't know. What a person. What? Bro, what we doing, bro?
Because
you don't believe her, she's lying.
That's a very difficult thing to answer because I'm not in a position to know what she's trying to achieve. But I can tell you categorically, I don't remember meeting her at all. I do not remember a photograph being taken. And I've said consistently and frequently that we never had any sort of sexual contact, whatever.
She spoke about you outside the court in August of this year. She said, I quote, "He knows exactly what he's done, and I hope he comes clean about it."
And the answer is nothing.
So if Virginia Roberts is watching this interview, what is your message to her?
I don't have a message for her.
Wow. If this is not the response of the person who actually did that stuff, he don't have no remorse and all that, and he can't deny it for real, because his denial is not even a denial for real. His whole thing is prove it. Hey, you can't prove it. That the demeanor and the attitude that I'm getting from him is his whole thing is prove it. Whatever you're accusing me of, prove it. You got proof? All right then. You got proof? All right then. If you don't got proof, then I don't want to. So his whole thing is, if you can't prove that I did it, then I don't need to say nothing. So it doesn't mean that he didn't do it. It's just that he's going to look at her and say, what's your name, Virginia? Can you prove that I did that? Ha ha ha. You can't prove that I did that to you. And that's what that is right there. And that's sick. That's sick. Knowing that the person might not be able to prove it. Might not be able to prove it. Therefore, you feel you're going to get away with it. And you don't never have to admit anything because you know they cannot prove it. That's how a lot of people become victims and a lot of predators get away with their crimes. Because being able to prove something that you don't have no audio, video, you know what I mean? But it happened and you can't prove it. And the person that's accused that did it to you is laughing constantly because they know you cannot prove it. That's how children get abused by adults. Because being able to prove that stuff, man, you could accuse anybody of anything, but then they're going to be like, well, where did it happen? When? And all that and all that. And that's where you got to be able to prove it. And people, it becomes a he say, she say. And you know what's terrible? He say, she say with an adult and a child. Like, damn, that's terrible. That's terrible.
I have to have a thick skin. If somebody's going to make those sorts of allegations, then we'll have a thick skin and get on with it. But they never happened.
For the record, is there any way you could have had sex with that young woman or any young woman trafficked by Jeffrey Epstein in any of his residences?
No. And without putting too fine a point on it, if you're a man, it is a positive act to have sex with somebody. You have to take some sort of positive action. And so therefore, if you try to forget, it's very difficult to try and forget positive action. And I do not remember.
Nah, bro. Stop, man. Stop. Rape ain't positive, sir. That okay? So you telling me that when one of these sickos run down on an old woman and rip her clothes off and sexually take advantage of her because it's the act of sex, that it was so good, like, bro, you know, some people do it violently. You know what I'm saying? Like, it seems like you one of those consensual rapists. You know what I mean? Because she has no choice but to do what you say because she's in a hostage situation. You gonna tell yourself that this is consensual. You're going to tell yourself that this is consensual. Why? Because she's too scared to say no. She's too scared to fight back. She's under a situation where she's helpless. Therefore, she has to comply. So mentally, you feel she's consenting. Right. This is a sicko. This is a sicko. Shall I proceed? Yes, indeed.
You try to forget. It's very difficult to try and forget positive action. And I do not remember anything. I can't rack my brain and thinking, oh, well, when the allegations came out originally, I went, that's a bit strange, I don't remember this. And then I've been through it and through it and through it over and over and over again. And no, nothing. Never happened.
Epstein's housekeeper, also in a Florida court legal deposition, said that you visited the Palm Beach residence around 4 times a year. You got a daily massage.
4 times a year?
That was what he said in a Florida court legal deposition.
No.
I'm just wondering, when you look back now, is there a chance that those massages might have been the services of someone who was being sexually exploited or trafficked by Epstein?
No. I don't think, no, definitely not. Definitely not.
Have you ever gotten massages when you was over there? That's all. Just answer me that. Have you ever gotten massages at any time when you was by Epstein? Because the girl said that one of her encounters started with a massage with you. Have you ever been massaged in that house, sir?
And I definitely did not visit his Palm Beach house 3 or 4 times a year. Absolutely not.
How many times would you say you visited?
In total, probably 4 times. In total, throughout the time that I knew him. In fact, probably that was the place that you see what I mean. He was in the house more there than in other places that I was.
So that's where you'd find him.
But it was usually because I was going through and on somewhere else. So it was a day. That was it.
You said in your statement from the palace, at no time did I see, witness, or suspect any suspicious behaviour. Virginia Roberts' legal team says you could not spend time around Epstein and not know what was going on. You could not spend time around Epstein and not know what was going on.
If you are somebody like me, then people behave in a subtly different way. You wouldn't, first of all, I'm not looking for it. That's the thing. Is if you're looking for it, then you might have suspected now, with the benefit of a huge amount of hindsight and a huge amount of analysis, you look back and you go, well, was that really the way that it was, or was I looking at it the wrong way? But you don't go into these places, you don't go to stay with people looking for that.
You could not spend time around him. That was what they said. You could not spend time around him and not know.
Look, the other aspect of this is that I live in an institution at Buckingham Palace which has members of staff walking around all the time. And I don't wish to appear grand, but there were a lot of people who were walking around Jeffrey Epstein's house. As far as I was aware, they were staff. They were people that were working for him, doing things. As it were, I interacted with them, if you wanted me to say good morning, good afternoon, but I didn't, you see what I mean, interact with them in a way that was, what are you doing here, why are you here, what's going on?
But you'd notice if there were hundreds of underage girls in Buckingham Palace.
That was so sweet.
You would notice if there were hundreds of underage girls in Jeffrey's house. Wasn't there. Not when I was there. Now, he may have changed his behaviour patterns in order for that not to be obvious to me. So I don't, you're asking me to speculate on things that I just don't know about.
You seem utterly convinced you're telling the truth.
This is crazy, bro. The way this man operated, that's why he got convicted, sir. The way this man operated, everybody knew, bro. You hear me? So what you saying right now sounds crazy. There wasn't a person around this dude that ain't know what type of time he was on. That's why Trump get all this flack now. Like Trump, ain't no way you didn't know, bro. That man, everybody know what type of time he on. That's why it's so shameful that anybody who knew him and seen in pictures with him, you already know, like, yo, bro, you was one of the people that knew what's going on. You ain't have to participate. You ain't have to ever even be in the actual places where it's happening. It's the fact that if you've been around this man, you know what he into, period. And that's where it looks terrible on anybody standing next to the dude. Because it doesn't mean that you was participating or you was even around. It means that you do know. Because everybody knows, bro. Everybody knows. And he wants to be the only one that don't know.
So I don't, you're asking me to speculate on things that I just don't know about.
You seem utterly convinced you're telling the truth. Would you be willing to testify or give a statement under oath if you were?
Sorry, that was a yo, I like her. She ain't playing with him. You heard what she said? You seem to be convinced that you telling the truth. Yo, it's almost like she calling him a liar without calling him a liar. And she been side-eyeing him the whole time. Every time he answers a question, she look at him like, really? Every time he answer a question with one of them lies, she look at him like, and you sure about this? She not playing with him.
Order for that not to be obvious to me. So I don't, I mean, you're asking me to speculate on things that I just don't know about.
You seem utterly convinced you're telling the truth. Would you be willing to testify or give a statement under oath if you were asked?
Well, I'm like everybody else, and I would have to take all the legal advice that there was before I was to do that sort of thing. But if push came to shove and the legal, the legal advice was to do so, then I would be duty-bound to do so.
Because you've
Asking you if you'd be willing. Meaning that with the legal advice, you still got to be willing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be willing, man, in order to do it. Would you be willing?
There are many unanswered questions. Yep. Everyone affected wants closure. You would help to provide that closure.
If in the right circumstances, yes, I would, because I think there's just as much closure for me as there is for everybody else. And undoubtedly, some very strange and unpleasant activities have been going on. I'm afraid to say that I'm not the person who can shed light on it for a number of reasons. One of which is that I wasn't there long enough. If you go in for a day, 2 days at a time, it's quite easy, I'm led to believe, for those sorts of people to hide their activities for that period of time and then carry on when you're not there.
Virginia Roberts' lawyers, legal team, say that they've asked for a legal statement from you. There is an active FBI investigation now. Would you be willing to provide that?
Again, I'm bound by what my legal advisors tell me.
FBI involved? Oh, bro, hey, the feds and them on your neck, boy. All this information about to come out in America. Oh. Some people behind the scenes that probably already seen what the FBI got on you, huh? They acting like this stuff just happened. They starting to take action now. Got you. You got the feds on your neck since 2019 back then? Oh, yeah. It seems like they done heard what the feds done came across, and they like, yo, separate from this guy ASAP, because the feds about to release some statements or something. This is crazy.
Epstein was found dead in prison in August of this year.
Yep.
What was your response on hearing that he'd died?
Shock.
Some people think that he didn't take his own life.
Well, there again, I'm not one to be able to answer that question. I believe that centres around something to do with a bone in his neck, as to whether or not, if you commit suicide, that bone breaks or something. But I'm afraid to say I'm not an expert. I have to take what the coroner says, and he has ruled that it was suicide. So,
he's dead. His girlfriend, Ghislaine Maxwell, your old friend, was, victims say, complicit in his behaviour.
Well, that bit I can't help you with because I've no idea.
Do you think that she has questions to answer about her role in this?
In the same way that I have questions to answer, in the sense of what was I doing, and as I say, that I was there to my mind.
Yo, this guy, the same way that you got questions, did you just hear? They said she was helping him. What kind of questions you think would be the same that you got to answer that she got to answer? Like, bro, what are we doing here? Are you kidding me? That's your answer to that?
That bit I can't help you with because I've no idea.
Do you think that she has questions to answer about her role in this?
In the same way that I have questions to answer, in the sense of what was I doing, and as I say, that I was there to my mind, be honourable and say to him, look, you've been convicted. It would be incompatible for me to be seen with you. Unfortunately, somebody was standing around with a camera at the time. And
crazy, but this don't make no sense. He's been convicted, so you go meet him to tell him that you cannot be seen with him. So you go meet up with him to physically be in his presence to tell him you cannot be seen with him. That's a phone call. Sir, that is a phone call, sir. It sounds like you wanted your last kiss or your last hug or your last intimate moment before you... Like, what the hell do you need to physically... Like, come on, bro. It sounds like these guys was in a relationship too or something. I think this might have been his little boyfriend or something too, man. because this man wanted to see him one last time. Like, one last time? What the hell? What the hell? That's reserved for your baby, man. One last time.
Questions to answer about her role in this.
In the same way that I have questions to answer, in the sense of what was I doing, and as I say, that I was there to my mind, be honourable and say to him, look, you've been convicted. It would be incompatible for me to be seen with you. Unfortunately, somebody was standing around with a camera at the time and got a photograph of us. It's one of the very few photographs there are of us, but that was the case. If there are questions that Ghislaine has to answer, that's her problem. I'm afraid I'm not in a position to be able to comment one way or the other.
When was your last contact with her?
It was earlier this year, funny enough, in the summer, in the spring, summer.
About what?
She was here doing some rally.
So even though he had by then been arrested and was facing charges of sex trafficking?
No. This was early spring, I think. It was long, because when was he arrested?
July.
No, it was before July.
And that was the last time?
Yeah.
Did you discuss Epstein at all then?
No, actually, funny enough, no, not at all. There wasn't anything to discuss about him, because he wasn't in the news. It wasn't, it was just, we'd moved on.
I want to talk about moving on now.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
Epstein is dead.
Yes.
The women are now being heard.
Quite rightly.
How do you move on from this?
Well, interesting way of putting it. I'm carrying on with what I do. I have a number of things that I have been doing since 2011. They're pretty well organised, pretty successful, and so I'm carrying on and trying to improve those things that I'm already doing.
I wonder what effect all this has had on your close family. You've got daughters of your own.
It has been what I would describe as a constant sore in the family. We all knew him. And I think that if we have a conversation about it, we're all left with the same thing of what on earth happened? Well, how did he get to where he was? What did he do? How did he do it? And so it's just a constant sort of gnaw. I mean, this first came out in 2011, and it was a surprise to all of us because the photographs were published at a separate time to when I was there, and it was sort of a question like what's going on. And as a family, we discussed it. And then in 2015, when the allegations were made in the deposition, there was a sort of this is the immediate family, not the wider family. The wider family couldn't be more supportive, but the immediate family, it was, oh, what's all this about? And we all just we're at a loss. So it's just.
Has the episode been damaging to the royal family, to Her Majesty the Queen?
I don't believe it's been damaging to the Queen at all. It has to me, and it's been a constant drip, if you see what I mean, in the background that people want to know. If I was in a position to be able to answer all these questions in a way that gave sensible answers, other than the ones that I've given that gave closure, then I'd love it. But I'm afraid I can't. I'm just not in a position to do so because I'm just as much in the dark as many people.
How do you reconnect with the public then now?
But exactly what I'm doing, which is to use and to continue to work with pitch, to continue to work with idea and the things that I believe strongly in. I'm not somebody who does things in competition with people. Oddly, I do things in collaboration with people. So I want people to work together to come to, as it were, a solution to a bigger problem. And so we've got a number of people working together, particularly in the education field, particularly and also in areas of government and what they are doing, so that we're bringing everybody together so that we're all pushing in the same direction. An idea now does that. We've been going properly now for 2 years. We've got 3.5 million people who've got a badge. We've got 500,000, or just over 500,000 young people who are using the service. And I'm trying to think what else we've got, but it's well, it's designed for 7 to 14-year-olds in the United Kingdom, and it turns out it's done from 5 to 95 around the world. So it's being done in 100 countries now. We're slightly on the catch-up for this one.
I know we have to bring this to a close because we're running out of time. You've faced questions today on a very, very raw subject. There has never been an interview like this before. I wonder what that tells us about the way the royal family now confronts these difficult situations. Has there been a sea change?
I think that the problem that we face in the 21st century is social media. There is a whole range of things that you face now that you didn't face 25 years ago because it was just the print media. And I think that to some extent there is a thick skin that you have to have. And again, I'm not a confrontationalist myself. I would prefer to be able to, as it were, resolve things in a way that is sensible. And so choosing to, as it were, get out there and talk about these things, it's almost a mental health issue to some extent for me, in the sense that it's been nagging at my mind for a great many years. I know that I made the wrong judgment.
Guiltiness, that's what that is.
But I made the wrong decision and the wrong judgment, I believe, fundamentally for the right reasons, which is to say to somebody, I'm not going to see you again. And in fact, from that day forth, I was never in contact with him.
Bro, you just went to get your last hug and kiss, bro. This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard for a situation where a man has been convicted of being a sex offender and trafficking children, that you say, yo, I need to go see him so I could tell him this one last time I can't see him no more. What? What? What we doing? What the hell are we doing, man? You a prince? Man, stop playing with me.
Wrong judgment, and I made the wrong decision. But I made the wrong decision and the wrong judgment, I believe, fundamentally for the right reasons, which is to say to somebody, I'm not going to see you again. And in fact, from that day forth, I was never in contact with him. The subsequent allegations are what I would describe as surprising, shocking, and a distraction. But that's, I mean, there are all sorts of things that are on the internet and out there in the public domain that we just sort of go, well, yeah, but I'm afraid this is, it just never happened.
You've talked about a thick skin. I wonder if you have any sense now of guilt, regret, or shame about any of your behaviour in your friendship with Epstein.
As far as Mr. Epstein is concerned, it was the wrong decision to go and see him in 2010. As far as my association with him was concerned, it had some seriously beneficial outcomes in areas that have nothing to do with what I would describe as what we're talking about today.
Bro, this is the thing. Once you find out what you find out, you be like, you know what? I would have rather not. Because my thing is like, bro, so what you're saying is that if you knew what you knew about him, you would have still took those opportunities? So it doesn't matter. If the answer would be no, you wouldn't take those opportunities if you knew those things about him, then it should be easy to say that that now that I know, then it's still a problem. I'm not gonna make all of the opportunities that I got from him the highlight. The main thing would be, man, if I known, I wouldn't have. These opportunities doesn't outweigh, you know, this immoral behavior that he's doing. These opportunities can come somewhere else. It don't have to come from a person who's doing that. Like, come on, we had to find another way, man. I would have had to find another way. And by the way, you a prince, man. What you talking about? You could have found another way to get the same opportunities, man. He ain't the only one with this access. He making it seem like, yo, only Jeffrey, man. Or you want to get in contact with these people? Shit, you know you're going to have to go through Jeffrey. Listen, man, you ain't going to be able to get through and get to these people if you don't talk to Jeffrey. Like, you acting like he's a gatekeeper or something. Stop it, bro. Stop it.
As far as my association with him was concerned, it had some seriously beneficial outcomes in areas that have nothing to do with what I would describe as what we're talking about today. On balance, could I have avoided ever meeting him? Probably not, and that's because of my friendship with Ghislaine. It was inevitable that we would have come across each other.
NC lady.
Do I regret the fact that he has quite obviously conducted himself in a manner unbecoming? Yes.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, but in the sense that he was a sex offender.
He's being polite about him being a sex offender. I'm being polite. I'm sorry, I'm being polite. Man, he got a great deal of respect for the man still. It's ridiculous.
Conducted himself in a manner unbecoming. Yes.
Unbecoming. He was a sex offender.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm being polite, but in the sense that he was a sex offender. But no. Was I right in having him as a friend at the time? And bearing in mind this was some years before he was accused of being a sex offender. I don't think there was anything wrong then. The problem was the fact that once he had been convicted,
he's always been.
I stayed with him, and that's that. Sir,
he's always been. He just hasn't gotten caught. He's acting like he ain't become a sex offender until he got caught. Like, that's crazy. Wait. Is this what we doing, Prince? Are we pretending that this man didn't become a sex offender until they arrested his ass? Is that what we saying? Is this what we doing?
Anything wrong then? The problem was the fact that once he had been convicted,
you stayed with him.
I stayed with him, And that's the bit that as it were, I kick myself for on a daily basis, because it was not something that was becoming a member of my family. And we try and uphold the highest standards and practices, and I let the side down. Simple as that.
This interview has been exceptionally rare. You might not speak on this subject again. Is there anything you feel has been left unsaid that you would like to say now?
No, I don't think so. I think you've probably dragged out most of what is required, and I'm truly grateful for the opportunity that you've given me to be able to discuss this with you.
Your Royal Highness, thank you.
Thank you very much indeed. Your
Royal Highness, Your Royal Lowness now. Your Royal Lowness, man. All right, that wraps that up. I'm hoping that we all gain some information, gain some knowledge on Prince Andrew, that if you didn't know some of this stuff already. I wasn't privy to this stuff. I looked into a lot of this stuff last night, and here I am presenting what I learned. And I don't know. I'm not going to be following this too much unless I get unless there's more information, new things come out. As we can see, all this stuff is old stuff that's now resurfacing to do what now? That's how I know it's something bigger. It's a conspiracy. That's how I know there's something coming down the pipeline, so everybody's making their move right now. Let's get rid of him. Let's do all that. Let's push him. Do what you got to do, man. I'll be watching to see what unfolds in the news and in the media. Yeah. But I'm about to get out of here. I got some Crime Network stuff to do. We going back to Fulio trial. We gotta go see what's going on. Today's day 8. And I want to thank everybody for rocking out, man. It's been a pleasure. It's been a pleasure. The downfall, Prince Andrew's downfall. I will be see you guys in the next live. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate y'all. And it's time for me to go, man. Make sure y'all sub up to Wabbit Crime Network 2 and Wabbit Crime Network, because I'm going to be over there in a few minutes. Probably like about 30 minutes. I'm going to be over there. Fulio murder trial, man. Alicia Andrews. Oh, shout out to the chat. Shout out to the people. Hit the like button if you haven't already. And subscribe if you're not subscribed. And we out of here. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Thank you, guys.